Hi, everyone. How are my trading warrior brothers and sisters doing today? Hello, Kevin, Ren, Ingmar, Michael. So yesterday in the gold, we had a nice little 3-driver right here. And we're at a very important level, 1850. So, we could make another attempt for another high. It's possible. This was something that I was able to take advantage of in silver, which actually broke harder and is weaker. And I was showing this chart that we were kind of do or die up here. Put in almost a low reversal day. We're down here under today's lows. There's lots of space for it to fall back down towards major support around 22 bucks. You have to get out on closes over 25.10. So that's the way the metals look. And gold, same thing. Rallied right back to this moving average of 50-day. And the 200s down here back near 1800. So yesterday's high is pretty important in gold. Tagged it. I'm not sure what kind of retrace it was, but I'm still in the camp that the low was not the low. Yeah, 1850, correct, Sensei. Takes out 1850, look out. It's a little clearer here on a shorter term TF. 1850, here's the blue line. So if we take it out, this was a false breakout. Not much progress after this big day, this big candle here, this 2-hour candle. And you have a moving average here. So gold would have some problems back underneath it. Something else that's changed, Euro pound. I think Euro pound closing back under, this 91 level, and especially if we start getting back under, and we're right there around the 90 level, looks like it peaked. So from now on, when I'm bearish a dollar, I'd be buying cable. Okay, when I'm bullish a dollar, I'd be shorting euro. That's what I see there. Yields are up a little bit today. This is really going to be the key in the gold. If the 10-year can get back above 1%, we start closing above 1%, it's not going to be bullish for metals. Okay. And I'm still trying to be patient about the dollar. So if gold's going to make a move, it's going to need this scenario to take place. And that's going to be another push back down towards this 90-30 level. We'll see if that could happen. I don't believe we'll have confirmed lows on multiple time frames should that occur. So we'll see. This too is possible that this was it, and we're going to head up to 91.5, 92. But I'm going to sit here. There could be, Tom, but it's all going to be if this happens. I'd be interested to see where gold is at if the dollar made one more marginal new low. I hope that helps. But yesterday was a sale. You never know which. Anytime you probe something, you don't know if it's going to be a major turn until you look at things in a rearview mirror. Yeah, that's true. Aussie's really acting very stronger than I thought it would be, although I thought there was a shot for one more high. And, we've got it. I didn't think it would be this much bow. But, we had this here. Aussie's really looking good. It's hard for me to, want to fade it since it's the strength of the currency complex. I'll also be interested in China and Aussie, right? They're battling it? Okay. Well, I don't know about a short in it today. And when I look at the 15-minute, still a lot of momentum. We could pull back, but there's going to have to be some distribution. Pull back, rally again. But most of these RSI readings are pretty good. Even at the high, it diverged, but diverged over 80. This time, if we take out this high, we may stay under 70. So thanks, MG. And crude, it tried to rally. This is a second lower high here. There's nothing bearish I see yet. I'd actually like to see one more new high. We haven't made a new high here for a while. But I guess if you start taking out this $45 level, that 42 is possible again. Euro cannot lose 121. Okay, well, I hope it rallies one more time, because I was like waiting for one more high, maybe 122-ish, to do something there. I'll be interested to see where the euro's at, see where the relative strength is in the currency complex if we get that one more dip in the dollar into that 90.35 level. For all you sky watchers, there is a solar eclipse on the 14th. I think that's Monday. So maybe what's going on here is going to stretch into Monday, including maybe, I think there's going to be some, NASDAQ is acting kind of lousy comparatively, but when I look at this on the 15-minute, look how oversold it is already, from doing really breaking 100 points. So I have a hard time catching tops that are just like sideways and then they just erode. I saw this, but I don't know what to do with NASDAQ right now. I'd actually like to see one more high in NASDAQ and even another high in the S&Ps. This high in the S&Ps right here was over 70. So I think Steve had like a 37.40 level. I know a lot of people are looking for 38. It looks like they will have a stimulus deal. It's going to be different. Instead of adding on to unemployment, they're going to give everyone 600, half of what they gave people last time. 1,200 for married.
That's if it goes through. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I'm still skeptical to see if that even goes through. Hey, Dale, you were just talking about oh crap. You were just mentioning something and I was like, NASDAQ. Daily, did you see the DSI and the NASDAQ overnight?
I think it was 91.
Yeah, it's 91. So it's
okay. Yeah.
It is in that
rarefied air.
Yeah, we're definitely into the pretty extreme, and I think when you're like, well, the NASDAQ's kind of underperforming, maybe that's the reason why.
Yeah, but it's been in every other day. When I was trading it Sunday night, it was the weakness, and then Tuesday it became the strength. Or Monday, it blew out to new highs. I mean, NASDAQ did this.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're getting that the rotation, right? Like one day
it's never 2 days in a row, and right. I don't think that's healthy.
You don't? I don't
not
know.
Every day that they're going, back to growth and value, from growth to value and cyclicality. Every other day, it's different leadership. I don't know. Usually, a theme like that puts a few days together.
Yeah. Well,
and that's just it's like they're distributing.
Yeah, perhaps.
Anyway. Who knows? We make a new high. We'll have the 1 millionth and 185th negative divergence in the in the last 20 years.
You know, it's
Huh?
amazing when these markets just continue to plow higher. I mean,
Yeah,
it's truly like and this is December too. I mean, don't forget that in
I know.
December you can see these moves just kind of extend for no reason. And I remember, gosh, we had our holiday party for our office 2 years ago, because last year we didn't travel. I forget why we had to cancel. Oh, because there was some big event happening in December of last year. I forget what it was. We were looking at a stimulus trade deal, and we
Oh
all
yeah.
canceled the party because we look, here we are a year later talking about the same thing, which is funny. That's why we canceled our holiday party last year. Anyway, what I was saying is, what I wanted to say is, like 2 years ago, I remember around the holiday party, which is about a week from where we're at right now. I remember like that Friday or Thursday that I was flying in to New York. It was, I mean, the Aussie was just ripping. It was moving like, 50 pip clips higher. For what reason? No one knows. And I remember, actually, I can show you exactly what happened there. Let me pull it up really quick. If you go over to the Aussie, by the way, I did get stopped out of I had a Aussie long, or a short, excuse me, while we were below 74.50, and I got stopped out. It was small, but still, it was, I actually reduced it after that stimulus news last night. But if you recall last year, or it was 2 years ago, so it was right here. There was what is it right here? I have to go back and take a look. What year is this? 20? So it was, no, I guess it was it last year? Oh yeah, it was this is last year. I'm sorry, it was last year. Just you see that it was just ripping. It
Yep.
was just ripping. I remember last year, and then it was a couple years before that. Then I'd have to go back to, is this December right here? Like you just saw back in 2017, it just kept just tearing higher. And those are an example of December moves that just kind of go. And that's where we could be at, especially with the dollar as weak as it is, isn't it, Dale?
Yeah, in fact, I read a study, Blake, that seasonal study, that December is the weakest month of the year
For the
for the
dollar.
dollar. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
January is the strongest.
Well, I'm sorry.
And then January seasonally is the strongest.
Isn't that amazing? Well, we could definitely see that this year. And if you put all this together, with the dollar breaking down, because the dollar is obviously in breakdown territory right now. And then you have, the ECB tomorrow, and that's probably the reason why the euro is just not participating right now, is you have the ECB. Don't forget that. But you put together a Brexit deal, and the cable trades above 135 and change. You got the Aussie breaking out, which I think looks very bullish now. The Kiwis challenging the highs, but the Kiwi can break out too. Dollar Canadian, even though we held that double bottom yesterday, today we're back down at the lows. So I don't know if we're going to be able to turn the corner here. So if you get everything moving, and that, just with overall dollar weakness, it's entirely possible that's what we're going to get, is we're going to get just dollar weakness across the board, and you see that continue into year end. So anyway,
our chart of the day in Aussie Kiwi looks like it might be manifesting some type of head and shoulders formation. I don't know if we got deep enough for the right shoulder, but that was the chart of the day.
hold on
Kiwi.
1 second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Dale?
The chart of the day yesterday, Aussie Kiwi. I don't know if we got deep enough for the right shoulder, but that was the look.
I I was trying to buy it below 105, and my order didn't get tripped. So
That's could still be, it didn't have to go to your red circle for it to be
no,
valid.
it could be a complex head and shoulder, which is just
It was a
a
nice looking chart of the day. I
thanks.
think the chart of the days have, they're not specific recommendations, but the ideas have a very high hit rate. You don't give entries and stops and targets, but the ideas, and then people apply their own tools to it. They're excellent.
Thank you. It's it's a everyday good example. It's the old edge chart of the day. So you know, I just want to give an example of, you know, a possible setup or thing that might be, you know, developing some technical pattern that might be developing in the markets that you guys need to pay attention to. But yeah, this rally in the Aussie New Zealand could really, you know, yield you know, move back up towards 107. I was really hoping for a dip below 105 to get long. I had orders out and just never reached it. So now let's talk about the dollar and where we're at right now. So the euro's pulled back a little bit. We're consolidating, but remember, we're still in breakout territory. So that's, you know, one thing that you got to keep in mind. You know, you got the cable back up at, you know, near these highs. And the thing about the pound, and I have to point this out and you guys can see it here, but I'll point it out anyway. You know, the break above resistance here, break below support is it really has taken both sides of the market. So you have to imagine if you were on, you know, the long side, you know, you got long on the breakout above 135, you know, you got stopped out. Then you got short on a break below 133, you got stopped out. So it's taken traders on both sides of the market. And until there's a concrete, you know, deal, there's going to probably be a lot of back and forth here. And so you have to be really careful about being too biased the cable. I mean, one of the things that you could do right here is, you know, short the pound, put your stops above the highs, or if it gets back down to 133, be long, put your stops below these lows. You know, or you just wait for the news to come out, you know, which is the safer route. The problem that I have, and a lot of people in North America, is that whenever there's an announcement, it's probably going to be during European hours. I mean, more than likely, considering this is a UK event. So that's, you know, one of the things that you have to think about regarding the pound. You know, like I said, or and if there is a deal or there's not a deal, there's going to be plenty of time to trade the long side or the short side of the cable following a deal too. So, you know, while I'm going through this analysis, let's just go ahead and get this bias chart out of the way. So the euro dollar, if we get a breakdown in the euro from this triangle, then I would expect that this move, you can see this like trend line right here. Okay. That comes in right around the 50% retracement, which would be 120.50. If we can break down, that's where I would expect it to go. You got 120.80, which is a 38% retracement that's held already. And then below that 120.50. So I would hope for a dip to 120.50, frankly. I don't think we're going to get it, but you know, that'd be nice if we did. So those are two support levels for the euro. Resistance for the euro is going to be 121.50. And it's still bullish. Okay. For the cable, again, I'm going to write down two levels, 135 and 133, or, you know, maybe, I mean, I could write down 133. So even if we go past these levels, you know that we can overshoot them, but I think generally speaking, around these areas, you're going to have some support or resistance. Hold on. I was just looking to see if there was some news that just came out. Doesn't seem like it. Okay, so there's your range. Let's talk about the Aussie. So the Aussie, yeah, the Aussie did exactly what I thought it would do last week. We hit the 127% extension of the bigger post-COVID news. We stopped, but what failed to happen and why the Aussie continues to be bullish is the pullbacks have been very minor. So it rallied to the 127% extension, but again, the pullbacks have been so minor, we're not able to get back below support. So now the breakout is, happening. I would expect any dip now to 74.50 to be very well supported today. So just keep that in mind. And this is back to bullish. And now resistance is going to be the 127% extension of this most recent consolidation, which comes in at 75.30. And with that being said, you have to imagine that the Kiwi probably is going to follow suit. Now, right at this moment, we're finding some resistance up at these highs. The thing that the Kiwi doesn't have going for it right now is the Aussie New Zealand is breaking out. So that might hinder the ability for the Kiwi to make headway today. But eventually the Kiwi should break higher. So what I would think happens here is even if we do pull back, it should be minor, and then we're going to break higher. Okay. And we're going to reach for this 50% retracement, longer term retracement. So resistance today is still 71.05, and support now should be, well, support's at 70 cents, but 70.25 today should be support on any dip. Resistance 71.05. It is still bullish. It really needs to be designated as bullish because we're still above, this breakout point, the 68 cent level. So it still needs to stay bullish. Dollar Canadian, we are right down at support again. Could we get a triple bottom and a bounce? It's possible. Does the dollar Canadian look like it's going to move lower? Yeah. And the 161% extension here comes in at 127.33, which would be a nice reversal level in my opinion. But let's write down 27.70. But beyond that, 27.30. And resistance remains 128.40. And this remains bearish. Okay. The cable is moving higher here. Hold on. Let's see where this resistance is just to see here. Yeah, the 78% retracement's 134.72, right where we're at. So we are right up against resistance here. But again, it's all around this 135 level. What's that, Dale? Oh, I thought Dale said something.
You are hearing things, man.
I might be hearing things.
Good morning.
That might have been it. But yeah, what do you make of the cable move there, Stelios?
Well, I think it's a continuation of what we saw yesterday. I was a little bit perplexed as to why the pound didn't initially move higher, just like you. But Boris Johnson is supposed to be having dinner with Ursula von der Leyen tonight. Candlelit one, I don't know. But, I think the markets are getting a little bit more hopeful that something's going to happen.
Right.
The cable for me, if you look at the weekly or the monthly charts, huge trend line that's been broken, dating back from 2008. So that I would say is very, very bullish if it wasn't for the fact that we're in front of a massive binary event. That's the only thing that would stop me from going very long here.
Yeah, you know what? I said the exact same thing a week ago, because we were above it. So last week, right? So like this is the multi-year trend line that you're talking about. And actually, if you go over to the weekly chart, you can say the same thing. And like I said, last week we were above it, and then obviously, as you pointed out, it's a huge binary event. I mean, this could be an epic reversal from a key level of resistance if Boris Johnson just throws up his hands and says, you know what, screw you guys, I'm out of here. We're done. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I think a deal is going to get done. But
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the deal will get done. But the problem is, it's not a 0%, not even close to being a 0% event of a no deal Brexit. I think anybody who wants to sell at 0, I'll buy in size. But the question is, what happens if we do get a deal? What happens if we don't get a deal? Well, either way, the first 200 pips, we're going to lose them, right? If you don't have position, you're going to lose the first 200. Then what happens? That's the question.
Right. And I believe it's probably going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. But that could be January 1st too, because maybe we get a deal at the 11th hour, but who knows?
I think I agree with you. I think we will get it, but they're going to keep us on our toes for the next 20 days.
You think so? All right. Well, let's see if we can. We'll see what we do up here around the 135 level. Real quick, I'm going to finish up resistance analysis. Do we have any data coming out today?
We have jolts, but later on, so not now.
We have the
Bank of Canada as well.
The BOC, not for us right at this moment, and maybe that's the catalyst that drives the dollar Canadian below the support, perhaps. Okay, let's go into the dollars. Dollar Mexican peso. I'll just work my way down. So the dollar Mexican peso is still in this descending wedge. If you guys haven't seen it, this is the descending wedge. Well, you should have, because you've been here. Most of you guys have been here every day. So yeah, we just have this descending wedge, and we just continue to push the lower boundaries of it. If you're shorting the dollar, the dollar Mexican peso, you're probably pretty frustrated, because you're probably getting short because, the Aussie's breaking out. So you're like, naturally, I'm going to buy some emerging market currencies. And then you're like, why the hell is it not working? But at the same time, if you're long, you're probably equally frustrated because it's just not going anywhere. Fact of the matter is we're in this wedge. So we have to get above 20. And then, the 161% extension comes in at 1963. So maybe that's where we go. Okay. But we're still bearish, especially while we're below 20. Let's see. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss continues to trade heavy. The 161% extension of this move comes in at 88.05. We're drudgingly going lower, but we are going lower. And while we're below 89, 89.80, 89.85, you just got to be, or 89.90 is actually what it is. You just have to continue to be bearish. Next supports, I hate to write that, 88.05. Actually, I should probably write this 89.50. That's what I should do. Let me go back here. Whoops. Next support would be 88.05, and that's the 161% extension. I doubt we're getting down there today, but you know, you never know. Let's go into the dollar. Well, let's move our way lower. US dollar, Norwegian krona, same deal as yesterday. And just keep in mind, our big double top, it finally completes here at 863. And it looks like even though this 895 is resistance, really it's having a hard time getting back above 890. So and this is 860, 862. Bearish. One of the things you should probably keep in mind, the US dollar CNH just made a new cycle low. Think about that, because with a new cycle low, that's typically going to be risk on. So in other words, risk appetite is still going to be strong while you have this, weak US dollar CNH. And this, check this out. That double top is finally completed. Actually, you know what? I actually should tweet that. And so you guys are gonna have to bear with me, because we've been monitoring this for so long, because this new, the thing about this is this new move lower also came as a divergence too. So, there's a lot of people and a lot of institutional money has been chasing this lower. And so if you think about that, this new low that we made today might actually end up being, hold on, let me do something else really quick. That new low might have been, people chasing below this key, 127% extension, and then getting caught on the short side. Possibly, especially that the double top is completed. So hold on, I'm gonna go 1 second.
Almost 78.6 back. Nice look.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing on this chart looks impulsive.
No, which obviously could, it could reverse because of that, because it's been pretty orderly. You can see bounces. Not saying that it's reversal worthy, but you can get like a counter trend move.
You think the Chinese want a stronger currency?
No, hell no. They were doing it to, I think, appease probably
Trump
or the incoming
Biden,
because they just want to make sure that that ties the tensions ease. But hold on really quick.
maybe they're doing it for their trading partners in that new trade pack that we put together, but decided not to participate in.
Yeah.
I don't know why they. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, but the thing, I guess, take a look at, the day, how we made a marginal new low, and it could create a hammer today. And if it does, that could lead to a bit of a reversal. What I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to set up an alert for this, because what'll happen is if you break and close back above, like, let's call it like the 655 level, that's going to be a bullish reversal. And then you don't want to be short. And then at the same time, you probably don't want to be long Aussies. You don't want to be long Kiwi. You know what I mean? Those are things that
Great
you got to
point.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it was kind of important. What happened there? Okay. Let's finish up our analysis here. So dollar yen, let's get over to that. Or here, let's start with the DXY. So the market is very, very bearish dollars. And I was looking at positioning too. I mean, everybody's just aggressively short dollars right now. That is a risk for dollar shorts. Not saying that it's a risk right at this very second in time, but you got to keep that in mind, I think we had this drawn right here. So while we're below 91.10, and 90.50 is support right now. It is bearish. Okay. Let's see. S&P. I mean, we continue to hold the 3670. Next resistance is 3753. Is the 127% extension of this is the post-COVID move, right? That's the post-COVID sell-off. The 127% extension comes in at 3753, and that's, we continue the melt up. Animal spirits, baby.
So Forex Gal just put a link that China's consumer prices are falling. And
yeah, they came in negative overnight. They did.
Strong currency does it.
It's interesting. And one of the reasons why gold might continue to sell off is if you get some deflationary pressures globally. And I don't know if it's gonna make its, well, first of all, you think about what the Fed and all other central banks have done, and yet and Stelios probably has some ideas about this. All the central banks adding all this liquidity to the markets, yet you cannot manage to hit inflation targets. What do you think? What do you think is going to eventually happen, Stelios?
Well, first of all, what's been happening is we get all this liquidity, and what you get is the bank's excess reserves increasing massively. And unfortunately, this is something they cannot just lend out, contrary to popular belief. So it's a little bit tricky, the mechanics of it. But basically, over the last big crisis, 2008, 2009, excess reserves got massive, and that's what's happening. So you're not seeing inflation. At least the way they measure it, you're not seeing it manifest yet. The problem is that you're seeing inflation in the very, very, how do you say it? The most necessary things in life, like health and education, all that. That's got almost double-digit inflation, and you can see that, right? Blame
right? Yeah.
But the question is, how will we get reported inflation going higher? That's a tricky one. That's a very tricky one, because the way they measure it is very different.
Yeah. So, I mean,
although it's going to happen.
And is it, I mean, China's obviously measuring inflation. I wonder if they're measuring it the exact same way that we do.
Yeah. Well,
nobody measures it the exact same way, but all of the governments manipulate inflation, and the reasons are obvious and multiple. When you manipulate inflation, not only you reduce, in essence, your debt, you also increase your GDP performance, because the last thing you do to a GDP before you calculate it is deflate it. So less reported inflation, the less you have to deflate nominal GDP, the higher the real GDP appears to be. And the third reason is because all of the countries have, most of them, unpayable, unfunded liabilities, which are tied up, most of them are tied up to inflation, like pensions and, payments like that. So nowadays it's an absolute necessity to manipulate inflation.
Blake, can I have a look at the bias chart again so I can copy it, please?
You bet. You bet. Well, the man with all the answers, Steve, is here, but no, that's a really good explanation of inflation. But why is China's inflation coming in with a negative reading then?
Because the currency has been appreciating, and that always helps tame inflation. Now, the secondary deflationary effect is obviously COVID restrictions, right? I mean, think about it, Blake. How much have we decreased discretionary spending during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's a big driver in the last months.
Yeah, good point. All right,
but that's obviously temporary. Hopefully.
Let's hope.
Assuming.
Right. All right, guys. Well, hey, I'm going to pass it over to you. I hope you guys all have a great day. Now, remember, if you want to be part of the ForexAnalytix community, you either do one of two things. You try out ForexAnalytix. It's $1 for 10 days. Just give it a whirl. And then you get to use the premium version, come in the chat rooms, all that stuff. But you can also go to visit our Forex Live Forex Live, our Face webinar sponsor, Pepperstone Securities. And if you click this link right here and you open an account with them, you can get ForexAnalytix possibly for a couple of 2 to 4 months for free based on how much trading you do. So, and all you have to do is trade 5 lots, which is, what is that, 500,000 in currency? Most of you guys, most of you guys will do that
in the day
in 20 minutes. Yeah. So
needless to say, in 2 months, I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah. And then you'll end up getting another 2 months of ForexAnalytix for free. So, and Pepperstone's, obviously a great company, a great broker, one of the bigger ones in the world. So, come join us. Steve, Stelios, I'm going to leave, and Dale, I'm going to leave you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I'll catch you during the daily roundup.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Blake.
Okay, buddy.
Right. Hello, Coach.
Hey, guys.
So we talked about the UK and Bojo's blind date with Ursula. Let's see how that goes. But we're getting closer. The market's getting a little bit more optimistic about some kind of a trade deal. Again, we have the same sticking points, and we talked about this so many times. What percentage of GDP is fishing and all that. It's a matter of principle for the Brits, that's for sure. There was somebody, one of the members of parliament somewhere, who was saying, look, the UK is probably the only country that's sharing this much of their fishing rights and the fishing waters and everything. So it's there's a lot of things that are in principle involved, but in the end, I think there will be an agreement of some sort.
I just want to show you guys something quick. I went in and I got a Boris Johnson cut. All right. And you know how they gave me a Boris Johnson cut? They put a cereal bowl over my head
and cut whatever
and
was
just cut whatever around here.
Whatever was left over.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Dutch boy kind of thing, but I just wanted to show everyone that I'm Boris Johnson's.
You don't want to see my haircut. My hair keeps growing and growing, and same with my son. And I'm just waiting because they said they're going to open almost everything, like with heavy restrictions like you know, in a week from now, you know, for a couple of weeks, so people can have like more normal holidays. So, you know, my first visit is going to be.
I have no hair. I don't care.
Yeah, you don't have problems like that. Yes.
Anyway, just want to
Yeah.
show everyone Boris Johnson's influence coming to America. So I'll see you guys later.
You're Boris Johnson's handsome cousin. Okay. So
Younger cousin.
we talked.
Jewish cousin.
We talked about the UK. We had some more positive comments out of the US as well. Mnuchin, his proposal was hailed as progress by Pelosi and their side. So I think we can all agree this is going to get done as well. And then obviously we see with the new year and with if Biden gets sworn in and everything, then we see what we really get. We had some more news about the vaccines. I don't know if you guys caught this, but there was, let me find it. It was on the BBC website. It said, COVID vaccine, UK regulators warn people with history of significant allergic reactions not to have the Pfizer vaccine. I don't know what significant allergic reaction.
The interesting stuff begins, and somebody else. We have a friend actually with Katerina. She has like an autoimmune disease. Her doctor told her that she cannot get vaccinated if she has an autoimmune. I don't know why.
You don't get the same response, and you could get sick from it. Real sick.
Yeah. So we're gonna start hearing about
the details.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the long run, it's a good thing that these vaccines are coming out. But I don't think it's going to be plain sailing. Everything's fine so easily. I hope it is. But so anyway, this is COVID-wise. This is what we had. Also, I was reading. I don't live in Germany, but I think I was reading that they had the largest daily number of deaths yesterday in Germany, and Merkel has been saying that they need to do more to contain it, etc. So, unfortunately, this thing is still with us, and hopefully by the summer it should be gone. But
if vaccination
works,
people
take it.
Yes,
organized.
Then we should definitely have a huge improvement by then. Okay, of course, not the whole population will be able to get vaccinated by then, even assuming that the whole population will want to. But definitely, the more you vaccinate, of course, the less the problem. And, since they're going to start by vaccinating people that are, more, in danger groups, clearly, even after, I guess, a couple of months, death rates should dramatically go lower because, still the vast majority of people that end up dying from COVID are people with, old age, underlying diseases, so on and so forth. So these people should have been vaccinated at least in, in first world countries, like within, I guess, 3 months, worst case scenario.
Indeed. So otherwise, let me have a look at, we didn't have any.
Your view on silver, Stel, we went right up to that descending. Well, we just missed that descending triangle line up there and turned a little bit. Wondering what your thought is. He's still going to be patient, and
I'm still holding off. And this is the first time in ages that I've been flat in silver, apart from
you're naked.
Apart from any physical that I have, I'm completely flat, and I'm going to wait for a leg lower, which I think is going to come. Obviously, if we break above, and I think it's becoming very bullish, and technically it looks good.
Chase it, baby.
I will have to chase it. We'll have to.
Yep.
And I don't mind doing it, but at the moment I'm still waiting. So 21s again. I'm waiting for 21s. So
not sure you're gonna get lucky. Let's see.
People are not sure about a lot of things. Hold on.
We break above 25, 70, 26. Let's say. I think it's gone.
Sorry, I have to come back in 2 minutes. Okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
No problem. Girls' duty, as you understand, Dale.
Yeah, Mr. Mom. Yeah.
Okay, so Dale, any requests? until Stelios is back?
Well, Blake already covered it. Let me scroll back here. Someone's asking about Aussie Kiwi, but someone's asking about Bitcoin.
Yeah, listen, Bitcoin and Ethereum were pulling back yesterday and today, actually earlier. I hadn't checked it, in some time. But if you remember, we covered that yesterday, and what I said is that, and actually we covered it some time ago. I said that it looks to me that we're getting some type of a correction. Now, what type of a correction? No idea. That's
Yeah.
the problem with corrections. It's like you can have multiple versions of corrective moves, and there is almost no way to know in advance. I wouldn't even be surprised if the market is devious enough to clean, people that bought it after this rebound. So in essence, takes Bitcoin like through 16,500, 16,000 temporarily, to get rid of, all the weak hands before we move higher. But it would also be not really surprising if this is just a more shallow correction. If we go to the 4-hour chart, for example, yesterday I was looking at the possibility of this being a triangle. That's why, I'm saying once again, corrections are very, very hard to predict, because yesterday until a point it looked, perfectly like a symmetrical triangle, right?
Yeah.
Clearly not the case. Now that we plunge lower, might be something like this, like a channel. That might be the case.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
So welcome
My
back.
kids were calling.
Dimitri is saying that Aussie yen is breaking the weekly trend line from the 2017 highs. That would be a pretty important event. And why did it take so long with risk on?
In general, I'm very bullish the Aussie. Yeah, obviously he must have drawn a trend line like this, and he's talking about that
2017 high. Yeah.
Yeah, probably that's the trend line he's talking about. Drawing it from there, crossing from there, and going there. I don't pay that much attention to trend lines that just pass from 2 points.
Yeah.
Because
he's saying from 2017, so it was more to the right where he would start.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
We got some good eyes with our attendees, so
let's see. Okay, so now that we have that top, so which trend line? This one? Yeah, so it passes.
Is that it, Dimitri?
So this one, I'm
You're
assuming.
Here. I don't see all the hits. 1, 2. Anyway.
Yeah, these ones as well, you see?
Yes, he's saying.
So yeah, it has some validity. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, good eye. In general, though, I was anyhow bullish. First of all, look at the latest move lower. Clearly corrective, right? I had this as a channel. It was clearly corrective. And yes, that's a good eye. In general, I'm very bullish commodities. And, that should also benefit commodity currencies, right? Aussie, Kiwi, Canadian, Norwegian kroner, you name it. So yeah, I think this is a bullish development. That's a good point, Dimitri. Stelio, now that you're back, what were you saying, mate? We covered a little bit Bitcoin as long as you were away.
I can't remember. What was it talking about?
Perhaps you had more or less finished.
Maybe,
talking.
yeah. I can't remember.
So was there anything else in the docket? Anything else you had in mind?
No. Oh, yeah. I was about to say data. We had nothing in data. No, really, we're waiting for Bank of Canada, and is it the ECB as well tomorrow? Can't remember.
Who cares about the ECB nowadays?
Yes, ECB is tomorrow as well. But there's growing talk that they're gonna, give us some more guidance on monetary policy and more easing and anything that they're going to do. So I think all eyes are going to be tomorrow on that. But no, nothing else. Nothing else.
Okay, so somebody was asking about the CAD. Here's the CAD testing the support, but look at this. Look at the last 2.5 days, right?
Nothing.
In my opinion, another bearish consolidation until proven otherwise. And I've said it many times as we were moving lower, and every single time. That's why it pays off, guys, to follow the trend, right? Because reversals are not the common thing. Mostly, you have two modes in a market, right? You have choppy type of a market where you should be actually not trading it, right? And you have a trending market. Now, for quite some time, the dollar has been trending lower. Dollar pairs have been trending higher against the dollar. And USD CAD, why would you want to fade it? Yeah, at some point it's going to rebound, but we've said that 100 times that why would you want to fade it? At some point it's going to rebound, but why do you want to bet that's going to be today or tomorrow or the day after? I mean, wait first for some type of a big reversal, something that's going to like a little earthquake that's going to move the market, and perhaps is going to be the catalyst for some position squaring, some of the weak hands to go off this market. But for the time being, I see nothing like that. So my assumption is that we're soon going to be on our way to the next downside target, which is the 78.6% fib from the 2017 low to the March of this year's high, which comes at 126.20. As simple as that. Okay, so USD CAD lower. Having to do with crude oil, we've also said multiple times that trying to fade this is not a good idea. Another little consolidation after breaking through this flag. I mean, what can I say? It looks like it wants to go higher, and I have no objection to that. So higher. So obviously, USD NOK lower. I mean, the path of least resistance remains to be to the downside. We're almost at the previous low at 865. Somebody will say, oh yeah, but I see some RSI divergences there. Yeah, you might, but RSI divergences can persist for a period of time before we can actually see actually get something actionable due to that, right? So fading a trend just because of RSI divergence, not the best thing you can do. You should have more evidence than just RSI divergence to do that. Let me see. Let me go through some of your questions. What happened to the EU? UK will not allow the EU to dictate to it future regulations. When the UK does not follow slap on tariffs on competition, yeah, it's going to, more or less, sorry for my language, it's going to end up being a shit show one way or the other. I mean, I have no doubt about that.
Deep analysis of platinum, Amira wants every day.
How deep?
Deep tissue. You want deep tissue massage on platinum? Okay.
Deep analysis on platinum. Platinum has broken.
Go deep, man.
Yeah, broken from this.
It's come out of the deep
flag. It has been, trading for a couple of days above this previous high. It's pulled back, but do I see any real momentum or reversal? No. So my analysis here is that when gold and silver break out, which is a matter of when and probably soon, I think that platinum is going to explode higher because it has been overperforming for quite some time. So I do think that platinum is going to end up sooner rather than later continuing to the upside, with the next upside target being the 127% extension of this probably last move lower, which comes at 1,170, right? It's currently backtesting support, which seems to be holding roughly at 1,000. That's it. Was that deep enough for you?
Oh my God, Steve, no.
Oh gosh.
Okay, come on, throw me requests. We have 1 more minute. Dale, I'm assuming we have an interview today, right?
Yes, we have Vladimir Rybakov is here.
Okay.
I have a request, Steve. Can you do Killing Me Softly? I'm kidding.
Palladium. Okay. Last one. Palladium. Here is Palladium. Palladium, probably this whole move is a big consolidation after this, amazing explosion higher. I mean, this parabolic move higher. And usually, parabolic moves like that need, quite some time for the market to settle. And the type of correction we're getting so far, probably tells me that eventually Palladium is going to explode higher once again, which, I have no real big objection with, because as I've said, I think that anything that has intrinsic value, anything that's tangible, is going to explode, especially being priced in dollars, right? So, but we might need to remain, patient for quite some more time. It reminds you a little bit of the USD yen move a few years back and the consolidation that followed, which we're still going through. Yeah, exactly. After so many years, right?
Yeah.
I doubt it that in the case of Palladium, the move is going to last years. The consolidation is going to last years, but nobody says that it can last for a few more months, right? Because it had exploded higher, and people that were in it, in essence, benefited from massive gains. Okay, Dale. So let's get Vladimir on. I'm assuming he's Russian from the name.
Vladimir Rybakov? Yeah, I mean, definitely Russian, right?
Oh, he could be ex-USSR countries like Ukraine.
Yeah, I think
whatever,
he lived in Israel. But yeah, his family left Russia. Wouldn't you? Well, no, you like the ruble now. I'm going to ask him.
Oh, yeah, I would have.
Hello.
Hi, Vlad. How are you?
Well, good, all good. And whoever gave the bet that I am from the USSR countries was 100% correct.
Okay.
That was me.
I was born in Belarus.
Ah, there you see.
Okay.
Belarus.
What was your first currency trade in Belarus? Do you remember it? You were buying bread for,
Yep, we were buying bread for sausage.
Anyway, Vlad, you remember how to share the screen here on Zoom? It's that green box.
Yeah. I still belong to the generation of technology. How are you?
Good. It's good to hear your voice, buddy.
Thank you very much, and very good to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to start off with this. What's your edge?
Meaning?
Meaning, really, everyone has a successful trader has something where they could. That's what I mean. It's hard for a lot of people to even define it. What their edge is. Would your edge be trading without margin?
100% yes. How long do we know each other?
Huh?
We know each other like long time now, right?
Yeah. We were.
Yeah, and you are.
We were teenagers. Yeah. So is that an edge that you came to? I'm sure when you first started, like all of us, we're trying to make as much money as fast as we can, and we know what usually happens trying to do that. And did you go through like a paradigm shift in your trading once you deleveraged, and you didn't have to worry about what happens in a few days ranges for the position to work out?
Yeah, well, so you're right. Like everybody else, which makes sense somehow. I started with smaller capital. I didn't have the money back then, and I had to grow. You cannot grow unless you take the risks. It's not a secret. It's truth. That has to be a money or capital you can allow yourself to risk, because if you trade with money that you cannot allow yourself to lose, nothing good will happen with that. Very important. I saw unfortunately, so many traders coming into the market like their last chance to survive or something like that. And you cannot trade under pressure, exactly like you cannot do any other successful work under heavy pressure. So I started with leverage. I was kind of like consider myself lucky because I was doing that you remember these days, 2006, 2007, 2008, when the market was, you open the day, it's like 300 pips up or down. Right. You didn't need to do much, just kind of go with breakouts of highs, lows, and it would work. So I was pretty lucky then. That helped me to grow pretty quick. But after I did find the place of the capital I need to do a good living, I went back on all the terms of leverage. Nowadays I dislike leverage. I think this is a drug, and it's a recipe for failure.
Okay.
If you it's like,
So aren't you glad I defined your edge? Now, when someone asks you, you'll have an answer.
correct.
Anyway, so yeah, it's like a drug, and we all know what happens with drugs. You end up ODing.
Exactly. In the
Usually you
beginning it
can't
feels
manage.
good, and then boom.
Right. Okay, so let's move to the daily euro that you're showing here. What are the colored horizontal bars representative of? Swing pivot areas, fib extensions?
Yeah, well,
what are they?
I always work with higher time frames to try and define the coming direction.
Okay.
If it's a trend or if it's end of the trend. So I start always with the higher time frame, normally weekly and the daily. And the reason I have the euro dollar is because I think we might have a very interesting trading year on this pair 2021. Not that 2020 was not interesting all related to this pair, but I believe this is just the beginning of something big. And that's what if you are okay with that, that's what I wanted to show today.
Okay. All right. Something big to the upside?
Yes, but
Okay.
with a correction ahead, most likely. There is a big sell-off of the dollar recently.
Yeah.
The institution selling the dollar massively, especially with the elections and all this mess.
Don't laugh.
I am doubtful it will last for too long from here. I personally expect some surprises or surprise swings on this direction, but technically speaking, the way I see that, we are now in a second corrective wave of the euro dollar, which, if all goes good, should take us somewhere closer to 130. Of course, it could be a little bit lower, it could be a little bit higher, but that's pretty much the expectation. Okay. And taking that into consideration into the longer view, going to shorter terms view, I definitely like the way that this divergence is developing. We have a key zone here.
Yeah.
The bearish divergence developing is on the MACD here, currently on the moving average. Now, I don't know if it will complete the move down or not. As for now, it's just divergence in potential, as the MACD still don't complete the second high. But assuming this area would hold, then my personal expectations would be that we are heading towards significant correction.
How about 113, where your red moving average comes in?
It would be classical, anywhere in between 116 to 113 of these lows.
Yeah.
And these highs would be classical area.
Yeah.
Where from, again,
then you get 130. Yeah.
Assuming the analysis is right and the market would agree with my lines, I expect a further continuation.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this: have you taken? Are you looking to play this counter trend move that may be just starting to develop here? Maybe it's going to take a pullback and one more shot up, but to have two divergences instead of just one. Do you think that's possible?
That's normally the time where I drop to lower time frame, daily, and sometimes even like 4 hours to make the timing.
Yeah.
And also the daily is slowing down significantly. I believe that this area, the 122 surrounding the 122, is the area where we should expect a correction to start. So some false breakout here, for example, would be a classical sign that the bulls are losing momentum and potential turnaround is coming.
All right. So what do you think the narrative is going to be? Risk off? Is Trump going to hit? Trump and Israel going to hit Iran before January 20th? You're laughing. Do you think anything's going to happen there?
I'm laughing because I would not be surprised of anything that you mentioned to happen. It could be anything. It could be something in the Middle East, like the last word of Trump, you know.
Yeah, and you know, crude's been acting great in a COVID environment.
Yeah,
So I kind of think that maybe they're starting to price in some geo risk into the price of oil. What do you think?
And we also don't know how all the vaccine thing is going to work out, right? I mean,
yeah, right.
This is a huge subject by itself, and no one guarantees success. I mean, everybody expecting that and to put a V on a great battle with the COVID-19, but no one really knows if that's the end.
Are you in lockdown? Are you in lockdown up there?
More like restrictions here around Toronto.
Okay. And let me ask you this. A lot of people know somebody that's been touched by COVID. Do you know anybody?
I know a few people, yes.
Okay. Survived?
Luckily, yes. Fortunately,
okay, good. Thank God. All right. So Euro correction and then much higher because, you know, don't you think right now, and I've been trying to think of it, can you think of one bullish dollar narrative? I mean, everyone, the narratives are, you know, Fed, stimulus, political upheaval in the US. It's hard to find a bullish narrative. Could it be yields? I mean, the 10-year has gotten to 1% a couple of times. If we break out over 1%, we could go 130, 150. Could that play a role in a correction in the euro?
Oh yes, definitely. But again, I pretty much think it's going to come from some political some political failures. It might be surprises from the courts, even though nobody gives it a chance, including myself. But the last word was not said yet. There might be some surprises. It might be something new coming out of once and if Biden really takes the control, then no one can still anticipate how his view on the economy is going to lead. But personally, I think it's going to come somewhere from there.
Okay. All right.
Failure of Brexit also could be trigger, right?
It could be. Yeah, there's so many pots bubbling on the stove, right?
Exactly.
But I mean, you know, you're one of the very few I talked to that could come up with multiple narratives for the dollar to come off. How about a 20% correction in the S&Ps? And we don't know what the news would be. What's your view with the markets making new highs, all-time highs going into year end? You have any clues that are telling you that, you know, it's a little bit too much, too far, too fast up here?
Yes. I belong to the group of people that think that it lost the connection to the real economy. Somehow, I don't know why. Of course, it's easy to say it's, you know, the easy money, printing and all these kind of things. Yes, it makes sense. But it's somehow the recent concentration that we see on the market. I mean, that's huge. That's the huge companies. The rest, they don't do so well. It's Tesla, it's Apple, it's Google, it's Microsoft, it's these guys, and that's way too much concentrated. Looking backwards in history, that's what we do in technical analysis, right? All these concentrated periods normally did not end well.
And you know what? All those issues that you just mentioned, except for Google, which has recently made a new all-time high, Microsoft is well off its highs. Apple's way off its highs. Amazon's way off its highs. And the NASDAQ 100 is making new highs. I'm wondering, since they were the concentration, MAGA and FANG, of the NASDAQ 100, I don't even know what's leading the way to push the market up to new highs, because if you look at all these shares that I just mentioned, they are not.
Indeed. There's too much money in a very small place.
Yeah.
Not good. Normally, that's not a good sign. Again, is there a real reason for that to explode right now? The answer is I don't see any. But the same thing we can say about 2007 and 8. Nobody saw it coming.
No one talked to him.
Of course, there are all those who
After the fact. Well,
exactly.
they say it all the time.
Exactly.
We're gonna the market's gonna crash. The market's gonna crash since 1982.
Yeah, exactly. We hear some economists started from 2017, if I remember correct, saying the crash is coming. Okay, we are into 2021 very soon.
Yeah.
And the crash didn't really come. It was a deep correction here.
If you blinked your eye, you missed it. Right? I mean, like the COVID crash. If you just were Rip Van Winkle and you went to sleep for a few months, there wasn't a crash. So any other instruments that you're considering being important? I assume with your view on the euro that you probably have a bullish posture after a pullback in precious metals as well. Am I right?
Yes, indeed. And that brings me back here. I do expect corrections. I do not think they are going to be too long, and they should be. Technically speaking, the corrections that will lead for the next portion of buys. And I see that the same on the Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar, especially on these two. Aussie dollar, from my point of view, of course I might be totally wrong, but the way I see that, it's one of the best opportunities because the waves here are way clearer. It failed to hold below the 2008 low. Instant reversal with a pretty impressive candle combinations here.
Yeah.
Massive bullish divergence. So the way I see that, we are again heading here into very deep correction.
Okay. Can we get a pullback in Aussie first to, if the euro's going to correct to 116 to 113, can Aussie pull back to 68, 67?
Ideally, anything like 070 zone or slightly lower would be simply amazing opportunity to get involved.
Okay. And I know one of your favorite pairs, Aussie Kiwi. I'm so shocked it wasn't your first chart here today, but it seems to be coming out of the hole a little bit here. You favor this during the bull move. You expect an Aussie for Aussie to outperform Kiwi?
Yes, I do. I think it was several months ago when we last discussed. It was also
every time you come here, you're talking about. That's why I had to bring it up because I felt, gosh, there's something missing. What do we talk about all the time? And,
but I feel honored you remember it's there. So I think it's a great zone. The 105. It's a very strong psychological number. We can see it was a massive support the whole 2019 and 20.
Yeah.
So 19 was resistance. Now it's like turning into the supportive area. It holds. That's the bottom line. And looking on the longer time frame, again, when I check the waves, that's what I see. It's classical ending, fake breakout on the bottom, massive bullish divergence. We switch now for the first time for higher highs. I mean, that looks promising. The bullish hidden divergence also looks like a great opportunity. So personally, I think anything like 105, 102 is a place for buys.
Are you avoiding cable until anything happens?
No, well, to be honest, I took a shot. I know it's very risky. I took a shot on the cable 2 days ago, I think. On the short, on the sell direction. The idea here is, of course, not because it's a great technical opportunity. It's mainly because the risk reward should be working seriously in my favor. If it works, it's a great risk reward coming.
Okay.
I think pound dollar
to
for
the
long
upside,
term,
like 150, 140, 150, something like that, right?
Correct.
All right. Then here's the key question. You like both euro after pullbacks and you like cable.
Like them all.
Is euro pound going to just be sideways? We've had a bit of a rally in euro pound, but now it's starting to negate. Technicals are looking lousy after today, maybe. Is this just a non-trade, a range trade? And who knows which is going to outperform the other?
I totally agree with you. Even though I carry my bearish view here, I expect further move down.
Okay.
But that's very, very tricky waves and market conditions to deal with.
Okay.
Not sure it worth the risk, to be honest.
Okay, so yeah, that was my thinking after, having traded this for a long time. I thought we might get to 92, 94, head back up there, because I always believed that true bull markets and true bear markets in the dollar, true bull markets in FX, that the euro, like the old days, the Deutschmark would lead the Swiss, okay? And now that there's no Deutschmark, it's the euro would lead the pound in a true bull market, but that might just be old school stuff that doesn't mean anything anymore.
And who say it doesn't mean anything? I mean, all look at Warren Buffett. This is the classical old school, right?
Yeah.
And yet his actions.
We must have gone to different schools because we've had different outcomes in our lives.
Well,
Warren's only done like a shade better than me. But it's been fun talking to you, Vlad. Your views are great. You want to wrap it up with one more? Or you want to just go to where people could find you? Your call.
Let's do one more. If
okay,
I don't see the questions, if you have any, maybe something.
Okay, let's see if we have any questions for Vladimir, guys. Going USD CAD.
Is this question coming from a Canadian or not?
No, it's coming from someone who makes up names and comes in here.
The way I see the dollar CAD is like the other instruments is bearish. I expect to see here a corrective cycle in two waves or any sort of ranging pattern.
Yeah,
I don't see like new lows coming definitely, but anywhere in between 125 down to 120 is logical zone from my point of view.
Yeah,
and from the way I see that, it's still the rallies. I do expect corrections, yes, but I don't see this is a turnaround. I think this is just to opportunity to join further move down.
Okay, and wrap it with silver.
Deal. Now the silver is, from my point of view, again, it's amazing opportunity to get involved in the buys for the long term. I'm lucky in this meeting because there are some clear waves here, right? Developing. Yeah. Beautiful turnaround of divergences, of false breakout, and mainly the fact it never went below such a psychological level like 10. It was dancing around, but that's it. Higher highs starts to develop, so any drop, like the current situation that happens.
Okay, same thing. So we pull back to 20 or 18, that you back up the truck.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Why don't you show your website where people could hang out with you and learn from you? And
definitely,
I learned from you today. So
thank you very much.
And you're not that active on Twitter, but you could follow. Unless you're getting more active, you could follow Vladimir at Vladimir Rybakov on Twitter.
Did I press on something here? Because
you just you stop sharing the screen, so you have to share the screen again. Hit the green button.
I'm on 3 screens in front of me, and okay, you see.
Look at that guy. You look like you're running for prime minister of Canada.
Is it showing now?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so that's the club. That's where I hold my daily live meetings where we talk about all the trading opportunities as they happen. That's Traders Academy Club. And we also do...
Do you do them live?
Yes.
You don't do them. You do them live?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. No
live
masks.
Meetings. What do you mean?
No one's wearing a mask.
No.
You're not there in person. You do them live, but you're not getting together in an office like that and doing it.
Oh, no. I'm working from...
that's what I meant. Oh, home.
No. Working from home for more than a decade now.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the club where all the things happen real time.
Yeah.
And this is the blog where we do the daily contents with daily trading ideas, educational articles. It's as the name suggests, VladimirRybakov.com, and that's pretty simple to remember and follow.
All right.
I hope it again it can help to the community and give some valuable things.
Okay, and the website address is VladimirRybakov.com. Do you have club jackets with your name on the side, so
No.
people know that they're part of your club?
No,
You know, like
but
you know,
what,
like
this is something
gangs have club jackets. You don't have one?
not
You
yet.
know, that'd
but,
be a great promo to get. Yeah, great promo for new members.
You
Get
just
a
gave me an
Vladimir
idea. I might go
Rybakov
for it.
coat, huh?
You just gave me an idea. I might.
Yeah, you know, I have a million of them. All right, so Vlad, happy Hanukkah. I
Thank
hope
you
your
very much,
family.
and happy holidays, Merry Christmas in advance to everybody. Whatever the holidays you guys celebrate, I wish you a very happy one. Stay safe. Well, thank you very much for having me again, and I wish you and yours.
It was fun and also insightful. Great combination. Thank you, Vladimir.
Thank you very much.
Everyone,
And all the
that's
best to everybody.
all right. That's Vladimir Rybakov. Follow him on Twitter at Vladimir Rybakov, or go to his website www.vladimirrybakov.com. And remember, whatever you're trading, whether you're out for pips or coins or crypto, don't just count those. Count your blessings. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Adios. Thanks, Vlad.
Thank you very much. Take care.
See ya. You're welcome, everyone.